One enemy remaining.
Hi, I am Josh. I go by Josh Finai in games. I was lucky enough to get a beta key on the first day of drops, and I've been playing it since day one. Really fun game if you like competitive 5v5 shooters. If not, probably not the game for you. But if you do want to play it and you're thinking about playing Sage, I've found a few sort of useful hints and tips about Sage, how to use her abilities. I'll probably touch a little bit on where you should position yourself in certain scenarios and things like that. I've got some specific lineups for orbs and walls and things like this. I'm going to go over how to use all of her abilities realistically. This is my first video I've ever made, so the editing might be a little bit rough, honestly. But yeah, if you've got any hints or tips about editing, that would be helpful for me. Please let me know. So yeah, hopefully this video is helpful if you do want to pick up Sage. But yeah, let's get right into it. So first thing I'm going to speak about is Sage's wall. It's useful for blocking off chokes, you know, for getting reses and things like that, and just blocking teams off. So that's how it looks. It's 4 individual blocks that can all be individually broken, so if you place it right you can sort of get a tiny pixel angle where you can't actually get through. The way that the breaking works is if you damage a segment of it, it will stay damaged, more damaged than the rest, so over time the wall does naturally break, but the segment you've damaged will break earlier than the rest. One thing to note about this though, Jet can jump over these walls with her updraft ability, so that's something to keep in mind. So along with blocking off chokes, the obvious sort of use of walls, you can also boost yourself up, you know, into unexpected positions, and you can also do what I would call one-way walls, where you can go over it from one side but you can't from the other. I sort of learned about this from Mendo's stream, so thank you Mendo. You should go watch his stream as well. I'm going to show a few examples of both of those, mainly from Haven, just because that's where I happened to be recording, but you'll get the idea and sort of start to be able to make your own boosts off of these too. This is one of the boosts that I actually got from watching Mendo's stream, so yeah, again, go watch him. This next clip is one of the one-way walls that I mentioned earlier. Little thing to mention about this specific one, Jet can jump and use her glide passive ability to actually get up on here as well, but that's quite, you know, situational. This wall right here is the sort of one-way wall that I learned about from Mendo and sort of gave him the idea to find the other ones, so again, thank you Mendo. So now moving on to the slow orbs. It's I would argue it's sort of more powerful ability than wall, because for one you get 2 charges of it. I mean, you do have to buy them, but you still get 2 charges of it. But it can also, you know, if you throw it deep behind an enemy, you cut off their escape route to grant an easy kill. Or, you know, you can stop enemies from pushing in as well, either defense or an attack retake. So when you throw out a slow orb, it creates an area of, well, slowing effect. This is me walking through it normally, however if you bunny hop through it, it is actually much faster to get through. You'll also notice that when I'm walking through it, there's an audio cue that you can hear from a decent bit away, and it also makes a sound once it dissipates. In this segment I'm going to go over some specific lineups for slow orbs. Generally the ones I'm going to show are either from attack side, they'll be for fast pushes on sites, and these slows will help stop rotations, as well as just general ones from defense side that are helpful to stop the attackers rushing. The first map I'm showing right now is Split, so yeah, I'll show some of these throws. The next map I'm going to show you some slow lineups for is Bind. I'll need to put in some screenshots to show you where these actually land, because it's quite a lengthy run to actually get there from where you throw it from, so it's unlikely you'll be able to see it just by me running there. So the last map I'm going to show some slow throws for is Haven, which is the last map that's currently in the game. So these last two slows that I'm going to show you were actually taken from Mendo's stream. So yeah, thanks again Mendo, smile. So this last segment is going over heal and res. They seem quite self-explanatory. Res is the ultimate, and heal is Sage's signature ability, which means it recharges over time. I believe it's 35 seconds for the cooldown to happen. I don't have a lot of decent clips of this, except for the few little ones I put in the start of the video intro. So there's a few things I do have to say about it, so I'm just going to put it over this footage of me being trash on the obstacle course. So heal, generally I would use it on myself first, you know, because if your Sage dies, you have no heals. So it makes sense to use it on yourself first, even if it's a little bit of damage, especially since once your armor's broken, you know, you take 50% more damage, so you want to be keeping on top of that. After that, if you're full and some of your team are low, I would go for you know, the person who's lowest generally, or, you know, obviously it's situational where you're positioned, where the rest of your team are. But yeah, generally the lowest person is who I would go for. Now, res is a little bit even more situational than heal. So the best way I've found to do it is just tell my teammates, I've got res, go for a crazy peek. So I can, you know, wall you off, then res. It doesn't work every time, but it's the best way you can sort of force it. If not, you know, it is so situational, I can't really comment more than that. If you see someone who is dead and they're in a decent enough position, res them. That's pretty much that. You might also want to look at who you're rezzing as well, not to be BM, but if you're rezzing your bottom fragger, it might not help as much as rezzing your
I hit her
top
3
fragger.
times in the chest with the sheriff and didn't kill her. She can heal though, but she's no armor. I thought that would kill her.
Last player standing.